Roto World Player News, of course. You can find all your Roto World Player News on NBCSports.com. And guys, here are notable players that either missed practice or were limited in practice. Austin Ekeler, Aaron Jones, and Christian Watson all did not practice. Mark Andrews and Jerry Jeudy were limited. Raheem Mostert, he didn't practice with a knee, but it sounds like that could also be some veteran rest for Raheem Mostert, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Not very concerned there. Jalen Waddle limited with the oblique. He's been dealing with the midsection since summer, so maybe more rest for Waddle. Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins, though, two veteran wide receivers, they didn't practice either here, Barry. So what really stands at the top of the concern list right now as we reach the middle of the week here?
I think it's Austin Ekeler. You know, Austin Ekeler Austin Ekeler is so great, and it's not just because he's an investor in FantasyLife.com. I mean, it's one of the reasons, but it's also the 18 touchdowns each of the last 2 years. That's also a big part of it. But also, most importantly, honestly, it's one of the reasons we actively pursued him as an investor. We were thrilled when he decided to come on board. All seriousness is that there is no player more fantasy-friendly than Austin Ekeler, right? He understands it. He plays it. He is one of us. Like, he gets it. And so he's somebody who's very, very active about it. He's a friend of the show. He's been on this show multiple times talking with us here at the Happy Hour. And recently, I think he was on the Yahoo podcast over there with Matt Harmon. And he was talking about the fact that our friend and colleague Matt Harmon, colleague-ish, you know, I mean, well, there's an NBC Yahoo deal there, so he's semi-colleague, but definitely a friend. And he does a show with Austin Ekeler, and Ekeler was just like, yeah, go pick up Josh Kelly. Yeah. Right? That's my backup, and I don't know what's going to happen with the ankle, but you must get Josh Kelly. He's going to be the guy. He's really good. He's still available as of right now, as of this taping. He's still available in over 40% of Yahoo leagues, which seems insane to me because he needs to be rostered in 100% of leagues because Austin Ekeler is rostered in 100% of leagues. And as we saw on Sunday, and as we heard from the man himself, if Ekeler misses any time, it will be the Josh Kelly show. It's too early to tell. Eckler's really good about, like, don't worry about it, I'm going to go, or like, I don't know. And, like, just the early reports are like, we have to see how the ankle responds. I want to get out there for my fantasy managers, but I also want to be smart. So that's the one that's most concerning to me. Like, let's see how that plays out as the week goes on.
Yeah, and you don't love the matchup against Tennessee, which
Definitely
is
not.
Maybe the worst matchup in football outside of playing the 49ers for a running back, given that rushing defense. But at the same time, they're still 3-point favorites in the game. He's still going to get work at the goal line, you'd expect, if he is the guy. And then after that,
in the passing game,
And then after that, it's at Minnesota, Vegas. Like, if it does linger, then all of a sudden he's going to be a really strong fantasy option in those games.
Yeah, I don't know that I would start Josh. If Austin Ekeler was out, I don't know that I would start Josh Kelly this week, except in a deeper league. But to your point, like, and it's a lower matchup. But if Eckler's active, you have to start him, even at less than 100%, even in a tough matchup against Tennessee, because he'll be involved, as we said, in the passing game. And yeah, you hope that Josh Kelly, if he goes and Eckler's out, that at least volume gets him there, to your point, and maybe he falls into the end zone.
Yep. So while we keep an eye on all of those guys, if they play this weekend and, of course, Monday night, we know Eagles running back Kenneth Gainwell, dealing with a rib injury, will not play tonight against the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Now, what remains to be seen here, guys, is if Rashad Penny can be active for this game and actually a part of the game plan in this game. But, Jay, obviously, you would think that this, puts a little bit more now on DeAndre Swift, who was not very involved in Week 1 for the Eagles against New England.
He wasn't, and Nick Sirianni said he wanted to get DeAndre Swift more than 2 touches, which again is something that you feel like Nick Sirianni had more control over and could have just done if he wanted to do it. But I think clearly DeAndre Swift is the guy that you want for tonight. He's clearly above Rashad Penny in the pecking order, given that Rashad Penny was inactive, and then Boston Scott just doesn't have the ceiling. So I would expect, look, I don't know how it's going to shake out, but DeAndre Swift seems like the best bet of all these guys.
Yeah, that would be my expectation here as well. Like, I have DeAndre Swift ranked the highest of the 3 of them, but I don't feel great about, candidly, any of them. My expectation, because it will be a committee. They will make a commitment to get Swift more often, but then watch Penny, who was a healthy scratch in Week 1, take his first carry for like 25 yards, have like a Breece
Hall. Fresh
legs. Right, exactly. Watch him have like a Breece Hall like carry on the first run, and all of a sudden they're like, all right, well, we got to keep that guy in there, hot hand. I know for a fact there have been times where I've talked to NFL offensive coordinators where they have told me some version, not this, like this is years ago, but like just to give this example, they'll be like, this is a DeAndre Swift game. I promise you, like that's how we're game planning. We think we've seen something in the defense, like this is going to be a Swift game. And then Rashad Penny takes his first carry like 40 yards and like, well, we're not, that guy's not coming out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that does actually happen where they plan on one thing, but another guy makes a play and the coach is just going to ride the hot hand. Well, we're not taking him out after that, and then he keeps producing. It's so funny. I saw this on Twitter. Dwayne McFarland was just like, hey, you know what's going to happen here is that Rashad Penny, who was a healthy scratch in week 1, is going for like $120 and 2 touchdowns tonight. And Puka Nacua, who everyone picked up everywhere, is going for like 2 for 30 this week after everyone starts him, because that's just how fantasy football works. Yeah, I don't make the rules, but just that's how it works. So you know that's likely happening. But having said that, if I'm starting an Eagles running back, it is DeAndre Swift, given he got the second most usage after Gainwell. It is a good matchup. And Sirianni made a point in the post-game presser to say, we've got to get this guy more touches.
Yeah, I think Rashad Penny is an okay deeper league option if you're in a matchup where you're really up against it, going up against a super team and you need variance, because Rashad Penny, I think he's maybe the strangest running back in the NFL, because when he's healthy and on the field, he plays like he's literally the best runner in the NFL. Yeah. The last sustained healthy period was that last 6 weeks of 2021 when he was the best running back in football. Yeah. And the fact that he's a healthy scratch wasn't a great sign, but I do think that in a favorable matchup where they're 6.5-point favorites expecting to run the ball, that he may get some run.
Yeah, I mean, look, over the last 2 seasons, to your point, minimum 150 rushes. He's got a 6.2 yards per carry average. That is best in the NFL among any running back as well. So, right, and you could see them, especially in a game in which they're favored at home, you could see them wanting to get everything going on this offense, right? And so I like Jalen Hurts in this game. I think Hurts has a monster game here, and we're going to talk later in the show about some of our best bets for tonight's game. But I expect the Eagles to win and cover in this one.
To give you an idea, DraftKings right now has DeAndre Swift's rushing prop at 34.5 yards, which isn't that high, and has Rashad Penny at 30.5. So pretty close. But Swift, more value because more usage in the passing
game. Where's DeAndre Swift's receiving prop? That's the more interesting one to me.
He's at 14.5, slightly backed over, but has more upside there.
Yeah, I think I would take the over on the 14.5. I prefer that to the rushing, because who knows with the rushing, but the expectation here is that Swift should be used at least somewhat in the passing attack. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.